5 most remote places in the world. Thanks to modern technology and air travel, the world is shrinking. Still, there are still some places off the map or just barely on it, and here are the top 5 most remote places left on planet Earth. Number 5. Remote at number 5 are the Kerguelen Islands. Also known as the Desolation Islands for their sheer distance from any kind of civilization, the Kerguelen Islands are a small archipelago located in the southern Indian Ocean. There is no airstrip on the islands, and to get to them, travelers must take a 6-day boat ride from Reunion, a small island located off the coast of Madagascar. The islands have no native population. The islands were first discovered in 1772 and have been visited by a number of different biologists and explorers, including Captain James Cook, who made a brief stop on the archipelago in 1776. Today, the island is primarily a scientific center, but it also holds a satellite, a French missile defense system, and even serves as a sort of refuge for a particular type of French cattle that has become endangered on the mainland. Number 4. Coming in at number 4, Pitcairn Island. This tiny speck of land is located near dead in the center of the southern Pacific Ocean. Its closest neighbors are the Gambier Islands and the Tahiti to the west, but even these are several hundred miles away. The island has a standing population of some 50 people. Many of whom are descended from crew members of the famed HMS Bounty. The people make a living from farming, fishing, and selling their extremely rare postage stamps to collectors, but even with modern transportation, they still remain one of the most isolated communities in the world. There is no airstrip on the island, and getting there from the mainland requires hopping a ride on a shipping boat out of New Zealand, a journey that can take as long as 10 days. Number 3. Appearing in number 3 is Alert, a small village that lies on the Arctic Ocean, only 500 miles below the North Pole. It is widely considered to be the northernmost permanently inhabited place in the world, with a whopping 5 year-round residents. The nearest town to Alert is a small fishing village some 1300 miles away, and you would have to travel nearly twice that distance to reach major cities like Quebec. Because of its military function, Alert does have an airport, but because of weather, it is often unusable. Number 2. Muto County, China comes in at number 2. Considered the last county in China without a road leading to it, Muto is a small community in the Tibetan Autonomous Region that remains one of the few places in Asia still untouched by the modern world. Just getting to Muto is a Herculean task, as travelers must follow a grueling overland route through frozen parts of the Himalayas before crossing into the county by way of a 200-meter-long suspension bridge. The county is renowned for its beauty. It is said to be a virtual Eden of plant life, housing 1/10 of all flora in China. Despite its stunning geography and natural resources, it still remains something of an island unto itself. Millions of dollars have been spent over the years in trying to build a serviceable road to it, but all attempts have eventually been abandoned because of mudslides, avalanches, and a generally volatile landscape. Number 1. The single most remote inhabited place in the world, Tristan da Cunha, is number 1. It is an archipelago of small islands located in the southern Atlantic Ocean. The nearest land to the island is South Africa, which is roughly 1700 miles away, while the South American coast lies at a distance of about 2000 miles. The island was first discovered in 1506 by a Portuguese explorer. A small group of British, Italian, and American settlers began living on the island in the 1800s, and it is still under the UK's jurisdiction today. The islands now have a total population of 271 people, most of whom are descended from those original settlers and make their living as farmers and craft makers. Although the island now has some television stations and access to the internet via satellite, it is still the most physically isolated location on planet Earth. The island's rocky geography makes building an airstrip impossible, so the only way to travel to it is by boat. It was once regularly connected to South Africa by a British transport ship, but this vessel has since stopped calling on the island, and outside of the occasional cargo vessel, now the only visitors to Tristan da Cunha are deep-sea fishing boats.